It's great radio.
That's right.
And I love it.
The Jenny McCarthy Show on SIRIUS XM Stars.
She's good at what she does, and we're all talking about her.
We're all talking about it.
I love it.
Welcome back to the Jenny McCarthy Show. I'm Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg. Coming up is a really cool topic. I love this. I love figuring out why. The why about something. We've all been talking about, and you've heard people, news reports, blogs, talk about millennials, saying, what is wrong with them? Like, why can't they get their shit together? Is it, their fault? Or is it, their parents' fault? Is it society's? Is it debt? What is it? Failure to launch syndrome. Dr. Cali Estes, welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
I love this. Let me read a little bit more. We all know the classic example of the 30-something living in mom and dad's basement, working at the local pizza parlor, or the 28-year-old college dropout who's thrown in the towel on the prospect of education and success. We call it failure to launch syndrome, and it's surprisingly common among the millennial population. So why is that exactly?
Well, part of it is the parents, we call it helicopter parenting, where the parents constantly swoop in to fix every little problem that's happening. So Junior loses his job, mom picks up paying the rent. Junior goes, well, I really don't have to work. I don't have, any need at the moment, no pressing issue if mom's going to cover my bills. And then 1 month turns into 3 months, and next thing you know, it's 3 years. And mom is going, oh, he just hasn't, caught the right break yet. Instead of cutting him off and saying, go get a job, get these things completed. The second issue we have is that we give them awards for everything. You get an award for graduating kindergarten now. You get an award for graduating first grade, an award for second grade. They never have disappointment. Nobody's cut from cheerleading. Nobody's cut from the football team. And when they graduate and the parents say, apply for jobs now, they apply to one job going, I'm going to get that job. And then they don't get the
when they don't get it, it's the end of the world.
They're devastated. And then mom swoops in and goes, oh, my God, what's wrong with my baby? I have to fix him, or dad, depending on the parent. And then it becomes this rush to fix all of his problems, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then I get the phone call that he's 27, living at home, no job, no ambition, playing Xbox.
Dr. Kelly, I can understand this happening for, a certain percentage, but why is it a collective issue amongst millennials? Why is it the rest are so many? How did this happen?
Because we've changed so much of our thinking. Instead of disciplining kids in school when you got, an F, they would call your parents and say, Junior got an F. Now it's very different. The way they handle things is very different. It's not Junior got an F, he's going to be expelled. It's what's wrong with the teacher. Why is the teacher not teaching properly if Junior got an F? So the emphasis becomes on the teacher. Now we're incentivizing teachers' pay. If your students fail, you don't get a paycheck, or you get less of a paycheck. When did it become the teacher's job for the student to pick up the information? It's always been the student's job to learn the information, assimilate the information, and pass the exam. Now we've put the responsibility on the teacher to make Junior pass the exam. Junior has no responsibility.
I mean, it's maddening and upsetting and scary for me to think about. And I'm sure any other parent that's listening who has a young child. I think fortunately we've had enough of a few people like you to come out and say, hey guys, stop giving an award to all of your kids. Do something, because you're going to look at this. See this generation that's going on right now? You're the cause of it, or at least a huge part of it. I guess that's my next question. Is it all about the parenting, or can we, and the school, and, where's the percentages? What's the pie?
Well, it's society in general. We're allowing this to continue. We're allowing this to happen. And we're giving them excuses. Well, they haven't figured out their way in life, or they're just taking their time, and it's not working. So we have to incentivize them. We have to tell them, even if you just work and pay one bill to start, and then 2 months from now, you're going to pick up your car payment, or you're going to pick up this, or this is going to happen. And for little kids, it's simple things. Don't go to the store and buy them the Hot Wheel car. Tell them, okay, if you want to earn the Hot Wheel car at 5 years old, take out the trash. I'll give you a quarter. Every time they do something, they get paid for it. They learn, I have to work to get the things I want, not mom will buy it for me. And
I know.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm like, oh no, I know. You're right, my lady. So this is the thing too that I have to ask. Someone else, because I have so many experts that come on my show, had said you should not pay for chores. You can pay your kids to do other things to earn money, but not chores. Chores are something that you should do no matter what. Do you understand that philosophy at all?
I understand that. I'm not sure I agree with it, because chores, it teaches them that they hate chores. And then they avoid doing them. So I think, even telling them little things as they're young, instills in them, I have to do these things. And eventually these are things I'm not going to get paid for. These are things I have to do in my own household. But
at least they get used to doing them then.
Yeah. I think saying for you to live here, at 8 years old or 9 years old, you have to unload the dishes. They don't understand that. What do you mean to live here? I have to do this because my friend Becky doesn't have to do that. So why am I basically paying rent at 8, when she's not? So I've always used the incentivization method where if I give you something, you give me something, we have like a partnership versus me telling you what to do and then you refusing to do it and us arguing over it. I would rather make an incentive that you want to empty the dishes.
Right. Exactly. I mean, there's so many people that I know that need this kind of information and need the help, including myself. I have friends that I can honestly say I'm like biting my tongue going, oh my God, you know what you're doing to your kids right now. And everything that you're describing is them. Now, what if a family member or a friend does want to say something to this person? How do we go about introducing this topic to tell our loved one you're fucking up your kid? Excuse my French.
Here's what I say. Unless you plan on having your child move back in with you at 50 and you're paying all of the bills, we've got to get this under control now. Because what's going to happen is they're not going to understand, I have to work for a paycheck and that life has disappointments. They're not going to get that. And every disappointment is going to devastate them emotionally. And we are now in a society where we medicate for everything. So if somebody has anxiety, take a Xanax. Somebody has ADD, take an Adderall. Everything is medicated. There's no more accountability for your behavior at all. So now we have this child who's 28. I just got, give you an example. I just got this client. He's 28. Mom and dad pay every bill. The guy drives a Jaguar. I said, why did you buy him a Jaguar? Why didn't you buy him a Honda? Let him work up to a Jaguar. And they said, well, he wanted a Jaguar. And I said, but you're paying for it. Yeah, but he wanted that. They couldn't assimilate that what he wanted and what he deserved were two different things. I said, he's not working. He hasn't worked in 4 years. He graduated college and has done nothing. He sits at home and plays Xbox. What does he need a Jaguar for? He needs a Honda. To learn that if he wants a Jaguar, he has to put money aside and be ready to buy it. And they
right, because motivation is everything, isn't it? You have to be motivated to do something.
And there's no motivation. Why would he get a job? And they looked at me and said, what do you mean? And I said, you gave him no reason to get a job. You pay his rent. You pay for his car. You pay for his cell phone. He has food delivered. Why would he work? I wouldn't work.
I wouldn't either.
Huh? Yeah. And so it's getting them to understand they've created that. And then how to fix it is you say to him, okay, now you wanted the Jaguar. You're going to pay for it. Your bill is $500, $600, whatever. You have 30 days to get a job. I don't care if you deliver pizzas in the Jaguar. Your bill is due in 30 days. And hold them to that. If he doesn't pay it, you take the Jaguar back and park it at your house. Very simple.
I love it. I love it.
Give them accountability.
Exactly. Dr. Cali, so, I mean, do you have success stories? Can you say, yes, this does work once you put your foot down?
Yes. When the parents follow the plan, it works. It works beautifully. The kid comes kicking and screaming, full-on temper tantrum. But when mom and dad toe the line and say, absolutely not, we are cutting you off, this is the new rule, you have to follow it, they eventually do. And it may take, some of them it takes a day, some of it may take 30 days of being stubborn temper tantrums. And I always say, you have to remember the 5-year-old in Target who wanted the big wheel, and you said no. And they started to throw a temper tantrum. Instead of you saying no and removing the child from Target with no big wheel, you gave him the big wheel because you didn't want to be embarrassed in Target. You taught him this behavior. So now we're going to unteach the behavior. Anything that's learned can be unlearned. Once we teach the new behavior, the child will follow. But you're going to have that 5-year-old in Target again, having a meltdown. So be prepared.
How much of this do you see? single mom doesn't want to let go of son who's 25 and still living in his house because she is a widow or just single and uses him as a companion?
A lot more now. And it has a lot to do with him being the man of the household. And I have to work with the mom and say, this is not your boyfriend. This is not your husband. This is your son. You have now changed the dichotomy of the role, and it's this is your issue. We have to fix your issue because you're ruining his life.
Totally.
Pretty much.
Absolutely. That's why I wanted you to talk about it, because I meet so many that I'm like, your son, you've made your husband. And they're like, what are you talking about? I go, stop and take a good look, because it happened. It's happening. And then I hear the excuses of like, well, I need the help. Who else is going to help me? Have someone come over. I used to use Rent a Husband, literally in LA. It was called Rent a Husband. A guy would come over and hammer something in the wall. But parents, it does start with them, correct?
Yeah. I had one, and this is a success story. The son was 47, and she had a key to his condo, and she would come over every Thursday, pick up all his dirty laundry, cart it to her house, wash it, fold it, press it, bring it all back and put it away. And I said to her, do you expect him to take a wife? And she said, yes. I said, no woman in their right mind would marry him. And she said, why? I said, his mother has a key to his apartment. No woman wants that. And you do his laundry. He's got to learn to do it. And she said, well, I'll just hand it off to the wife. And I said, how do you know he's going to find a wife that wants to do his laundry?
Right.
There's services for that. It's pretty simple. I have a service. I call them. They come over. They pick up the laundry. They do it. They bring it back. I pay them. Very simple. And I said to her, you're inhibiting him from getting a wife. And she looked at me and she goes, really? I said, stop. So she stopped, and you should have seen. He was 47 going on 5. Well, who's going to do my laundry?
Oh, my God.
And I said, call a service. Well, what if they don't do it right? My mother does it the best. I said, your mother's prohibited from doing it, period. And he went through like this process of grieving of his mom not being able to do this. And I gave him a phone number. I said, call. I guarantee you they're even better because this is what they do. And then he loved it. He's like, this is fantastic. I said, wonderful. Stick with that. And then I worked with mom. And once she got her independence back and realized that, where she stops and he starts, she realized what she was doing. And he would call and say, I need gas money. This was a guy, a hedge fund guy. He'd call and say, I need gas money. And she'd send money. And I said, no more. You're not allowed to answer the phone when he calls for an hour. Like, I had to really put brakes on her. And as I did it, she got her power back. And as she did, she found herself a boyfriend, and she was so happy. And he goes, I can't believe my mother, she's not constantly around me. And I said, it's pretty nice, isn't it? And he goes, yeah, I like it. But
I know, because it saves the child, too. They have to remember that. It gives them a life.
Exactly. And then he ended up getting married to a beautiful woman, and they still send their laundry out. And I told her, I said, you couldn't be happier. He's happy, you're happy, everybody's happy. And look, what, just by simply stopping doing this one codependent behavior, you have changed the dynamic and your son is flourishing.
I absolutely love it. Dr. Cali Estes, right? Estes.
Estes, like Estes Park in Colorado.
Got it. No, I don't. I'll never get it. I'm terrible with names.
Okay.
Estes. So tell me, all those families, people that are listening going, oh my God, please, Dr. Cali, where can I go? Help me. What do I do? Where's the information for help?
Sure. They can call me. My 1-800 number is 1-800-706-0318, extension 1. They can also go to CaliEstes.com, my first name, last name. You'll see Failure to Launch on there, all different types of coaching I do. I even do addiction work, whatever the client needs for a full service. We work with the family and the client. I'm on Facebook under Cali Estes. I'm on Twitter under @TheAddictionsCo. And I'm on Instagram under Dr. Cali Estes.
And you cover all ages. So if a mom has an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old that wants to begin now, they can get help from you.
Absolutely. In fact, that's the time to start. Don't wait till they're 25 and living in the basement playing Xbox. Then it's going to be harder to break that behavior.
I think I'm going to make an appointment after the show. I'm not kidding. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. I don't want it to happen to Evan. I want to empower him the best I can. This is such an important topic. Failure to launch syndrome. Dr. Cali, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And I'm not kidding. I will be making an appointment later.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. God, I love these little guardian angels that come into our lives and help. Quick break. Coming back with some slang. What? My lord, my ladies.
I walk along the city streets you used to walk along with me, and every step I take reminds me of just how we used to be.
It's not that big of a deal. Forget it.